This 7-year-old kid has been breaking records everywhere, and everyone's been asking the same question: where will we see him race next? Well, we finally have our answer, and it's going to be huge. Gout Gout just told the world he's going to the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, and trust me, this is a big deal. But here's where it gets interesting. Everyone thought Gout would skip the Commonwealth Games. Why? Because the dates are tricky. The Commonwealth Games run from July 23rd to August 2nd in 2026, and right after that, from August 5th to 9th, there's the World Junior Championships in the United States. That's the big one for young athletes. That's where Usain Bolt made his name back in 2002. So people figured Gout would pick one. You can't do both, right? Wrong. Gout's manager, James Templeton, just dropped the news. He said, "We are planning that Gout will be available to run an event in Glasgow before going on to the World Juniors in Eugene. Gout will race the 100 meters at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. Then he'll hop on a plane to the United States and run the 200 meters at the World Juniors. 2 big races, 2 different countries, all in 1 week. That's insane. But that's Gout Gout. Let me tell you a bit more about this kid because his story is pretty amazing. Gout was born in Ipswich, Australia. His parents came from South Sudan back in 2005 looking for a better life, and they found it. Gout grew up loving video games. He played Fortnite, Minecraft, and Zelda. He says he was a hard gamer before he was a track athlete, but somewhere along the way he found running, and he was really, really good at it. When he was just 14 years old, he ran the 100 meters in 10.57 seconds. That's crazy fast for a kid that young. People started paying attention. Then, last year at the World Under-20 Championships, he ran the 200 meters in 20.6 seconds. You know what's wild about that? That's faster than Usain Bolt ran when he was 15. Bolt ran 20.61. Gout beat him by 0.01 seconds. And it gets better. In December 2024, Gout broke an Australian record that had been standing since 1968. That's 56 years. The record belonged to Peter Norman, who got a silver medal at the Olympics. His time was 20.06 seconds. Gout ran 20.04 seconds. New record. But he wasn't done. This year, in June, he went to the Czech Republic for a race in a place called Ostrava, and he ran even faster. He clocked 20.02 seconds, another new Australian record, and get this, that time makes him the 6th fastest under-20 athlete in history. Let that sink in. 6th fastest ever for someone under 20 years old. People started calling him the next Usain Bolt. Videos of his races went viral, millions of views. Everyone wanted to know about this kid from Australia who runs like the wind. So when the World Athletics Championships came to Tokyo this year, everyone was excited. This would be Gout's first big race against the best runners in the world. Not just kids his age, the best of the best. Before the race, Gout did a big media day with Adidas. They're his sponsor. There were over 24 journalists there, TV crews, cameras everywhere. And Gout walked out looking a little nervous. He put his hand in his pocket and gave this awkward smile. The host even said, "It's a long walk," just to help him relax. But once he started talking, you could see why people love this kid. He's humble, he's funny, he's just a regular teenager who happens to be incredibly fast. He told everyone he still shares a room with his older brother. He said his favorite food is burgers. Well, first he said pizza, then changed his mind and said burgers. His favorite drink? Peach iced tea. When someone asked what irritates him, he couldn't think of anything. Finally, he just said, probably exams. Because yeah, he's still in school. He's in year 12. That's like being a senior in high school. He has big exams coming up. And he's trying to balance being a world-class athlete with being a normal student. He said, "After Worlds, I'm heading back to school. I have 2 weeks holiday, which is great, and after that I'm back into studies, but I have exams coming up and those are really important." At the media day, Gout talked about racing at the World Championships. He said, "I have a few butterflies, but I've done the work to be here. It's about going out there and having a little bit of fun. I want to focus on being the best I can and enjoy my first experience at this level." He also said, "I've earned my place to be here. Obviously, these athletes are stronger, bigger, older, more experienced, but I know that I have the ability to go out there and do my thing. At the end of the day, we're all running 200 meters, and regardless of how old you are, when you stop on that line, it's all about who's fastest." That's the confidence right there. So, the race happened. Gout ran in the heats first and finished with a time of 20.23 seconds. Pretty good. He made it to the semifinals. But in the semis, things didn't go as planned. He finished 4th with a time of 20.36 seconds. That wasn't fast enough to make the final. He was disappointed, but he kept it positive. He told reporters, "It was a great race. Being able to come out here in a semifinal and do my thing is pretty incredible. I looked back at what I did in the heat and tried to fix it for the semifinal, and that's exactly what I did. Obviously, the conditions weren't too good with the rain coming earlier, but I'm happy to be here and just excited." Even though he didn't make the final, his time of 20.36 seconds was still faster than Usain Bolt's first World Championships back in 2005. Bolt ran 20.68 seconds in Helsinki. So yeah, Gout is still doing pretty well for a 17-year-old. Now, let's talk about the Commonwealth Games. This is where things get really exciting. The Commonwealth Games are like the Olympics, but only for countries that were part of the British Commonwealth: Australia, England, Canada, Jamaica, Kenya, and a bunch of others. It's a big deal. The 2026 Games were almost cancelled. The Australian state of Victoria was supposed to host them, but they pulled out. Then Glasgow, Scotland stepped up and said they'd do it. But they had to make some changes to save money. They cut the number of sports from 19 down to 10. No more cricket, no more hockey, no more rugby sevens or diving. But the good news? All the running events are still there. And swimming, and gymnastics, boxing, netball, and a few others. There will be about 3,000 athletes competing for 215 gold medals over 10 days, and Gout Gout will be one of them. The men's 200-meter final is scheduled for Friday, July 31st. That's Gout's favorite race. He calls it his pet event. And it's going to be at a place called Scotstoun Stadium in Glasgow. The men's 100-meter final is on Tuesday, July 28th. That's the race Gout plans to run at the Commonwealth Games. When the Australian team heard the news, they were thrilled. Petria Thomas is the chef de mission for Australia. That means she's in charge of the whole team. She said, "It's very exciting when our best athletes publicly announce their intention to be at the Games. There is, of course, qualification processes that all of our athletes will need to go through. A lot can happen in the year leading into a Games. It's really exciting that the athletes are saying they want to compete in the Games, and we're looking forward to having our best athletes possible on our team ready to go in a year's time. And Australia really wants Gout there. They have a good reason. Australia has topped the medal table at 8 of the last 9 Commonwealth Games going back to 1990. They want to do it again in Glasgow. And having their fastest young sprinter there, that's a huge help."
Problem that he has, he's saying, "Hey, I want my own shoe. Why don't I have my own shoe?" Because you can't show value because you're in an event that only takes place every 4 years.
Times Square was already buzzing, but when Noah Lyles took the stage at the Athlos NYC event, everything stopped. Months earlier, he had criticized Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track, a league facing serious debt problems. Now, the Olympic champion was standing front and center. What changed? The track world was left in disbelief. Noah Lyles appeared at the Athlos NYC 2025 event in Times Square on Thursday, the 9th of October 2025. Athlos' official Instagram posted a video showing Lyles marking his presence with fiancée Janelle Bromfield. The 200-meter world champion acknowledged Athlos' post by resharing it on his own Instagram story. The appearance came months after Lyles publicly expressed skepticism about Michael Johnson's Grand Slam track. Grand Slam track faces $19 million in total liabilities, including $11 million owed to athletes and $8 million owed to vendors. The debt stems from unpaid appearance fees and prize money from earlier events, including the canceled Los Angeles meet. Michael Johnson's league held 3 meets in 2025 inches, Kingston, Miami, and Philadelphia, before canceling its season-ending event in Los Angeles. The cancellation occurred in June due to financial strain. The league cited low stadium attendance, declining viewership, and rising operational costs as primary factors. A key investor withdrew an 8-figure commitment shortly after the April debut in Kingston, Jamaica. Johnson admitted to Front Office Sports, "That was a huge blow to us. Caused a major cash flow issue for us, put us in a difficult position, put our athletes in a difficult position." The investor reportedly signed a term sheet before reversing course days after attending the Kingston meet. The investor told Grand Slam Track they plan to invest their money elsewhere. Johnson launched the league in 2024, claiming $30 million in promised funding. The league never accessed that full amount. Lyles had declined to join Grand Slam Track despite approaches from the league. Back in March 2025, he revealed his concerns. "I would love nothing more than for this to be successful, because if it does, the amount of benefits it would provide, this could be a way for athletes to not have to only rely on world championships, because you could potentially be making more money consistently throughout the year," Lyles stated. But he added crucial doubts. Lyles said, Money is not the thing that's going to drive me every time. Who are your outside sponsors? Who are your non-track and field sponsors? I haven't even heard a block sponsor. From interviews to podcast appearances, Lyles repeated one demand. If GST wanted to thrive, it needed big names, big stars, big sponsors. That reasoning explained why he didn't sign on. Athlos, founded by Reddit co-founder and Serena Williams' husband Alexis Ohanian, held its second annual event in October 2025. The women-only track meet took place at Icon Stadium in New York on October 10, with the Times Square long jump event occurring the day before. Olympic and world champion Tara Davis Woodhall won the Times Square long jump competition with a mark of 6.81 meters. The event brought elite track and field to one of the world's busiest landmarks. Sha'Carri Richardson and Melissa Jefferson Wooden also attended the Times Square spectacle. Richardson serves as an advisor-owner for Athlos 2026, along with Davis Woodhall and Gabby Thomas. The 2026 season will operate in a league format. Richardson attended both days of the event, participating in meet-and-greet sessions with fans at the stadium. Athlos continues to expand while Grand Slam track struggles to survive. The contrast became clear when Lyles chose to appear at Athlos despite his earlier GST skepticism. The move suggested he has picked sides in what observers call the track league war. Grand Slam track promised $100,000 prizes for event group winners at each meet. The amount dwarfed existing purses on the traditional Diamond League circuit. Athletes signed up expecting unprecedented compensation. Instead, they waited months for payment. Olympic medalist Gabby Thomas commented on a Grand Slam track TikTok post, "PLS pay me." The simple plea captured widespread frustration among athletes still awaiting compensation for performances in Kingston, Philadelphia, or Miami. Grant Fisher won $100,000 in Kingston, but said on July 30, "The last update I heard was that by the end of July, they wanted Kingston prize money out. It hasn't hit my bank account or anyone else's." In September 2025, existing investors provided emergency funding described by sources as up to 8 figures. The infusion covered half of what Grand Slam owes its athletes. Payments began landing in athletes' accounts in early October 2025. Ray Flynn, an agent representing stars including Josh Kerr and Cole Hawker, called the payments a huge step forward. He credited organizers for fulfilling their promise after months of silence. Winners Alliance, the athlete investment group chaired by billionaire Bill Ackman, led the emergency funding round. Ackman was supportive of the plan but was not heavily involved according to sources. Winners Alliance advanced funds to keep remaining employees on payroll and pressed other investors to contribute between $5 million and $10 million. A memo to investors stated, "Today is the beginning of Grand Slam Track's reboot. We apologize for the frustrations and hardships caused by the payment delays to date. Over the next 60 days, we will be working hard to make things right." Johnson cut staff salaries by 15% in June after canceling the Los Angeles meet. Athletes explored legal avenues while agents warned that patience was wearing thin. One venue, the city of Miramar, Florida, filed for $77,896 in unpaid facility rental fees. Grand Slam track missed multiple payment plan deadlines for that bill. Johnson admitted in August, "The cruelest paradox in all of this is we promised that athletes would be fairly and quickly compensated. Yet, here we are struggling with our ability to compensate them." He maintained he remained confident about the future of Grand Slam track. When Johnson announced the league in 2024, he acknowledged it would take time to generate profit. "If I had an investor who said, 'Well, I need it to be profitable in year 2, I would not take their money because that's impossible,'" Johnson said, "It's just not going to happen. Our investors have come on and said, 'Hey, we believe in the long-term viability of this.'" That viability now faces serious questions. Johnson told Front Office Sports the league secured new investors and would return for a second year after covering debts. Winners Alliance released a statement. Winners Alliance has always been, and continues to be, a strong supporter of Grand Slam track and its ongoing development for the benefit of athletes and fans worldwide. Lyles' appearance at Athlos occurred while Grand Slam track fought for survival. The timing proved significant. Athletes watched one league thrive while another struggled to pay what it owed. Lyles walked onto that Times Square stage knowing what his presence would signal. The track and field community took notice immediately. Social media erupted with commentary about Lyles choosing Athlos over Grand Slam track. His resharing of Athlos' Instagram post amplified the message. The Olympic 100-meter champion had made his position clear without saying a word about Johnson's troubles. Athlos offers $60,000 to winners at its events. The amount falls short of Grand Slam track's promised $100,000, but Athlos athletes actually receive their money. That difference matters more than the prize amounts. Reliability beats big promises every time in professional sports. Lyles warned about this outcome months earlier. His skepticism about outside sponsors and non-track sponsors proved prophetic. Grand Slam track failed to secure the backing needed to sustain operations. One investor's withdrawal triggered a cascade of problems the league couldn't overcome. Johnson's vision aimed to revolutionize track and field compensation. He wanted athletes treated like tennis or golf stars. The concept attracted elite competitors and generated initial excitement, but execution failed to match ambition. Financial mismanagement or over-optimistic projections doomed the inaugural season.
Go with the first in the series of the 100 meters, and Adi looking very strong again as they come through. And a superb run, a great victory once again there.
At just 16 years old, Divine Ahame has done the unthinkable. The teenage sprinting sensation from Radley, Oxfordshire, isn't just another fast kid, he's something else entirely. In a sport dominated by grown men and Olympic veterans, Divine isn't waiting for his moment. He's taking it, right now. When he clocked 10.3 seconds in the 100-meter sprint in August 2024, the world of athletics stood still. It wasn't just fast for his age. It was a direct challenge to the legacy of the greatest sprinters in history. To put that into perspective, Usain Bolt ran 10.57 at age 14. Noah Lyles, nearly a full second slower than Divine at the same age. But Divine didn't just edge out the record, he crushed it. That 10.3 didn't just top youth charts. It shattered the U15 world record, previously held by Jamaica's Sachin Dennis at 10.51. It wasn't a fluke, it was a warning shot.
Well, when I first saw it, I was in utter shock. I couldn't believe it. I was jumping about, running around. I just felt so happy. But
in just one electrifying performance, Divine rewrote the history books. And the craziest part? That 10.3 would have placed him third at the 2024 British Athletics Championships against grown men. His time also catapulted him into the elite ranks of European U18 history, trailing only Teddy Wilson and France's Jeff Arias. At 16, Divine Ahame isn't just breaking age group records, he's running with the best of them. Born on the 1st of October 2009, Divine is no accident. Sprinting runs deep in his blood. His parents, Innocent Iheme and Nkiruka Anu, were both international sprinters for Nigeria. His mother, now his coach, believed in his talent before he ever took a step. "When I was pregnant, he kept kicking," she told the BBC. "I knew when he was in my tummy." That instinct turned into reality. Divine stood out from his earliest school days, and by 13, sprinting was no longer just a hobby, it was a mission. With the help of Radley AC and the PWD Athletics Academy, founded by his mother, Divine honed his explosive power and technique. The results? Beyond anything the UK has seen in years. While his 100 meters record caught the headlines, he wasn't done. Fast forward to January 2025. Divine entered the BFTTA Indoor Series in London and broke the 60 meters world record for 5-year-olds twice in one day. First came a blistering 6.72. Then, not long after, 6.71. That was enough to obliterate the long-standing record of 6.74 set by Jamie Samuels back in 2003. In just one afternoon, Divine rewrote the script again.
Oh, Divine.
With these times, he moved into fourth on the UK's all-time U18 list for the 60 meters, just 0.02 seconds behind Mark Lewis Francis's 6.69. That's not just impressive, that's unheard of for someone who had just turned 16. His power off the blocks, explosive drive phase, and natural composure hint at a sprinter years ahead of his time. And it's not just about speed. Divine's running style is what truly sets him apart. While many young sprinters try to copy the greats, Divine has carved out his own lane. He's watched Bolt's legendary 200 meters world record countless times, but when it comes to his own stride, he says it's unique and natural. "I don't try to model it from anyone," he told Sky Sports. "I just try my best to slingshot off the bend in the 200 meters and keep going until the finish line." That rare mix of fearless execution and flawless form has coaches losing their minds. His relaxed upper body, smooth cadence, and mature race management are rare in athletes his age. He's not just fast, he's smart fast. Despite all the hype, Divine remains remarkably grounded. When told he'd beaten Noah Lyles' youth time, he didn't gloat.